my father, my brother, and I went into the most dangerous neighborhood in Medellin, Colombia. And what happened was pretty wild. We were basically hunted. And I say that literally, that sounds a little bit like an exaggeration if you're here in the States, but it's not. My father, my brother, and I, we decided to go up to this neighborhood in Medellin called Santo Domingo. And you go up one of these, what they call in Disneyland, the cups in the sky, right? It's almost like the little cart that takes you through the sky. And in Medellin, it's really weird. In Latin America, it's very different than here in the States. In Latin America, the areas that are in the highest elevation, furthest from the city center, are the areas with the greatest amount of poverty. Whereas, you think Beverly Hills, that's where the rich people are here in the States. Well, no, it's not that way in Latin America. So, anyways, we go to the very highest point, and I'll never forget, as we were about to come into kind of the landing point, we saw this nice little playground. It looked really peaceful and quaint. And we thought, oh, we'll walk over there, we'll check it out, we'll look at this beautiful view of Medellin, it'll be awesome. Now, mind you, before I share what happened next, we knew we were going into a dangerous area. In fact, I had a friend who went up to this area. There's actually a black library. I'll put a picture of it here. You can check it out. My buddy went up here months before, several months before, and he actually literally got stopped by a cop, a Colombian cop who basically identified him to be a gringo and said, hey, dude, you're in the wrong place. Turn around, go home. This isn't for you. And he pushed back, and the cop was like, look, dude, seriously, you don't know where you are. You need to turn around. And so he never actually went to this neighborhood. So when we heard that story, we took it on as a challenge. And so we said, hey, we have to do this. So anyways, we get off the monorail or whatever the hell you want to call the thing. The gondola is probably the better word. And we start walking towards this city point, or kind of this viewpoint rather. So we're walking towards this viewpoint, and the first thing that happened that was really weird was there was this really tall, thin guy. I'll never forget him. And he had two women around him. And he looked at us for like 20 seconds straight. He just was like this. He's just watching us. And it's like, okay, whatever. We're like, we're outsiders. We're not in a touristy area. That's fine. Not a big deal. We keep walking. We're talking. And admittedly, we're talking. We're pretty loud. It's my brother, my dad, and I. We all get along well. So we're laughing. Of course, we're speaking in English. We're gringos, right? And we keep walking and we get a little further. And then we see this guy. And this was the part that was really kind of eerie. We see this guy wearing a hoodie. And it's a black hoodie. And he's alone. And he's just kind of like posted up against this fence. And he looks at us. And then he does this motion right here. Like, come on, let's let's get the cattle. Let's settle up with the score here. And he does one of these motions. And right at that point, I notice, I'm like, this dude looked right at us, and then he did this motion. What's going on? And I kind of turn over my shoulder, and I see that guy, the tall, thin guy, kind of walking behind us. So he had come from this position with these two girls to now he's following us. Anyways, we get to the point where there's this beautiful view, and we look out at Medellin for like 10 seconds. The three of us do, and we're like, "Wow, this is stunning." But at that point, we all had these like the spidey sense going on. We could just feel something was weird, and we turned our back and put the view behind us so that we're looking towards the neighborhood. And we notice there's this guy coming, the one with the two chicks. There's this other dude who's kind of sauntering in our direction, the guy that did this motion here. And then we see a third guy coming. There's the tall guy coming from this angle. There's the dude with the hoodie coming from this angle. And then we see this guy on a motorcycle that seems to be looking at both of these other guys, kind of pinging off of both of them, who's kind of coming directly, at us, because we're in a park, basically. It was a park setting where we were at. At this point, I looked to my dad and I'm like, you see what I'm seeing, right? Like, we're literally being like cornered here. And he's like, yeah, we got to go. And so at that point, the three of us just walked straight back to the gondola, to the cups in the sky, if you will. And the creepiest part was the entire time we were walking out, the guy on the motorcycle, the guy that kind of came head on the motorcycle, he was literally just following us the entire time at like 4 miles an hour. And then when we had to go to the gondola station to order the ticket, these young punks were coming behind us, and like they were trying to like get behind us in line to see if they could like pickpocket us, see if they could like move on us. And my brother, had my back. I was the guy who spoke the best Spanish, so I'm the one paying for the tickets. But like the entire time we're watching these guys like hawks, and it was like they were throwing everything they had to see if they could corner us, get us in a vulnerable position, and ostensibly mug us. And I think that's all that really would have happened. I don't think they would have shanked us or killed us unless we resisted, which, to be honest, we didn't have a lot of valuables on us. We knew better than to carry hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of stuff on us. But it was a situation where quite literally we were fish and they were sharks. And it was just the sheer number of individuals that quickly teamed up. And I mean, we were only on this point for probably 10 to 15 minutes at the most, probably even less. So for them to identify a vulnerable party that quickly and smell the blood in the water and to work as a team to come and attempt to take advantage, it was one of the eerier things I'd ever seen.